It's me, Jessica. I'm in here.
Hello, hello. Hi, Star. Thanks for checking in, getting your first. Oh my god, Star, you're first in line. Hi. Yeah, those pics with my mom were so. My mom and I have been through so much together, and I just can't imagine this lifetime without her. I'm so grateful to have a mom like her. I bet you feel that way about your mom, you know? And oh, fuck. Just smacked myself in my headset. It's not always gonna be, rainbows, obviously, but I love my mom. I could not do this life without her. I can't imagine not having her. Hi, Allie. Happy Mother's Day, Allie. Say Happy Mother's Day now. Happy Mother's Day, Allie. You incredible ass motherfucking mom. We love moms in this chat. Allie, how's your day today? Did Nola turn out? I saw that you posted a picture. Was that from today? Was she feeling a bit better? Were you able to go to your brother's house? Good. Guys, today I had work. I got to speak to my mom on my way home from work, which was nice. Um, for context, I literally have only ever lived by myself and I'm at my mom's house, so I'm feeling it extra hard today, being alone without her. Mother's Day, all mom. No, period. You know what? I'm gonna pin that just because it's the truth. We have a lot of moms in chat. Ronnie, Ali. Ronnie's actually streaming right now, so give shout out to you, Star, and give a shout out to she's live right now. If you guys want to go say hi. You played a Way Out, Star? Wait, what? Star, when did that happen? When did you stream a Way Out? Coffee Bean played Dead by Daylight most of this week. That's what PlayStation's telling me. Let me make sure I have. I was gonna play Until Dawn on stream today. Oh my! Hi guys! Welcome in, Ryan with the raid. You shouldn't have. All my friends are here. Ryan, Arceus, how are you? Do you want me to call you Arceus? Be honest. Is Arceus your favorite Pokemon? Let's talk about it. Momo, mi momito, ¿cómo estás? Everybody get your check-ins. Johnny, welcome in. Yin, welcome in. Hi, everybody. And Infernape. Okay, Infernape. Everybody get your check-ins. Happy Mother's Day to everybody who celebrates. Thank you for the follow, Yin. Thank you for the check-in.
Why are you following me?
I love it. I love that video. I'm so happy about that. Hi Aries, welcome in. How are you guys? Hi Ali. W follower alert. Isn't it so good? Help that alert. No, dude, I was at a cafe working on them on Friday and I literally was laughing out loud. Oh, I'm so happy to see you guys. Honestly, makes my day that you guys are here. Ryan, thank you for the raid. How was your stream? If you're not following Ryan, honestly, you're doing it wrong because Rosatoki is onto something, guys. El Rosa Toki. Um, I'm trying to make sure that I have Until Dawn ready to play. Yep, I can play Until Dawn, guys. So I think we're gonna play Until Dawn today. I'm gonna treat it like a first run, even though I've played like the first quarter of the game. I'm definitely, if anyone's played this game, I am open to backseating. I think for some of the games on PlayStation, I want to get my platinum achievement for them on PlayStation while I'm streaming. So Until Dawn and The Quarry will be games that we'll revisit. Yin, Johnny, welcome in. Thank y'all for the follows. Tell me about yourselves. Tell me how you're doing. What did everybody do for Mother's Day today? If your mothers are close to you or far from you, what did y'all do? I don't live near my mom anymore. So today's a little hard, but I did have work. So um, I was very distracted and had a very busy day. 20 stream Momo, get out of town. Get out of town. Aries, how are you? Welcome in. Me body. Me body Aries. You're playing it, Justin? It's so good. Okay, yeah. So who wants to meet me in the back seat? I mean, can we put the seats down? I bought her lunch. I love that. Don't be me and kill half the cast in the first 5 chapters. Oh, I low key wouldn't even mind killing these characters because if I remember correctly, I could not stand them. I called my mom. I don't live with her either. Yeah, I don't live with her. It's really hard. She and I are very close. Called my mom and almost cried. Stop, Ryan. I called my mom and my brother who was just getting home from work, so it kind of felt like I was home with them to talk. Sugar P, welcome in. Thank you for the check-in. My dad came over to drop off the card. My sister-in-law got me, and it was a 2-car air fresheners. Other kids, wait, I didn't know you could make custom air fresheners. Wait, they might be onto something. Yeah, we stayed home because she was still sick, coughing too much, and I didn't want to risk it, but she played on her scooter and drew chalk on the driveway and rode the lawnmower. Honestly, W dad. W dad. W lawnmower. Honestly. The gift that keeps on giving. My brother made me cry saying Happy Mother's Day to me after we had to stay home. Stop. Guys, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. Sending you so much love and hugs, me Husino. Honestly, this year's been very hard so far, and I say this every stream, but stream is the best part of life, like one of the best parts of life at the moment. So are you guys. Like meeting y'all and hanging out with y'all is some of the most fun I've been having. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys here today too. I realize I'm still in my starting stream. Hi guys. We're having some whiskey. We're playing until dawn. I am okay. Yeah, so good. Playing Stranger of Paradise, a Final Fantasy game. You really like Final Fantasy, huh? I don't know much about like that universe, so I only know what I know from you. And I'm sorry I missed stream today. Follow Rosa for a fat ass and clear skin, of course. Oh, dead ass. Follow him. Do it. Wait, your tattoo, your boyfriend has the same one? Okay. W boyfriend. Not all the Boricuas in the chat. Body baby. This is the only tattoo I have, but I do want more. I want hand tattoos, but I need a job first to make sure that it won't be a problem. I would love finger tats. I want tattoos here. I want now copycat. Get one. There's room for everyone. Aries, how are you doing? How's your weekend? Are you working tonight? Oh, I realize I don't have my Spotify on this. Oh, I do have it. I don't have the widget. That's what it is. You have a coquita tattoo too? Wait, you have a coquita tattoo? Yeah, look. Hey King. Oh, what is that supposed to mean? Wait, what do you mean? What is what supposed to mean? We all get matching tattoos. Yeah, everyone get one. Skya! Skya, welcome in. How are you feeling? Skya, check in. Get your check in. Start that counter. I'm waiting on dinner before I start until dawn so I can eat while I play. That was too that you really love Final Fantasy. I'm sorry. Did that sound shady? I didn't mean to be shady. I was just like, you literally. Coqui is the national frog of Puerto Rico. Of course, Aries. Ya lo sé. That's why. El Sapo está aquí. That's why I have him here. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you play Final Fantasy and like you play a lot of different Final Fantasy games, right? Am I crazy? Or am I making that up? Stop the cap. I'm just spreading the good word of the JRPGs. I thought someone asked. I'm sorry. No, yeah, no. Ark was saying that his boyfriend has the same tattoo, or their boyfriend has the same tattoo. Fell on the back of my head today. Skya, girl, someone help Skya. Got concussion, and when I was photographing nature at the swamp. Oh, when I was. So I've been having. Skya, please, gay rights.
And a large popcorn.
100
large?
biddies, a large.
Get money. He got money. Get it off for him.
I love that one too. That one's so good too. Thank you for the biddies. A large, she got money. I love that one too. Okay, at least you got pretty pictures, Skya. Hi, Mr. Beautyton. Welcome in. Get your check in. Hi. Oh, Quinta was ahead of her time. Yeah, Quinta was. I said Quinta. Quinta was ahead of her time. I mean, she's been funny 100 years ago. You know. How are you, Juster? Today was a hard day, Skya. Um, Thank you for the follow, Mr. Beardington. Get your check-in.
Why are you
Make sure you check in too, guys.
me?
There's a channel redeem for all the newbies here. For checking in, I'm very aggressive with my check-ins. Get the check-in. Don't play with me. All your alerts and stuff are so funny. Why are you following me? I changed them all on Friday. Okay, I was inspired by Ryan because he and I were chatting while Why are we doing Aries? Get the check-in or else. No, literally, I'm so serious about my check-in. Hi, Mr. Beardington. Welcome in. How's your Sunday? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I was inspired by Ryan because he and I were on the phone. We were on a Discord call. We're pretty much, yeah, we were just in a voice call, just doing stuff like hanging out and working. And their hustle on stream is so inspirational, and I aspire to be that hustler as well. So Friday I worked on my alerts. I still have to figure out what kind of funny meme one I want for my subs. Oh, I think my dinner's here. Then I'm gonna grab it. Stop! You're gonna make me cry. Cry. um, no, but it's so honest. Maybe you saw your smile and decided to tune in.
Jessica.
Hi, Vox. Vox, get your check-in, papas. Bienvenido al stream. So yeah, I worked on my alerts because I was like, you know what? I need alerts that fit the vibe. I mixed my original alerts because I thought they were like kind of cool, but honestly, the more I see that streams are like vastly different from one another, the less I want to be like anybody else. So the more I want, bienvenido al stream. Aries, it was a good try, wasn't it? How Puerto Rican of me to make up words. Vox, how was your day today? Okay, what did you get for dinner? I am about to get some homemade Puerto Rican food straight to my door. You did good. What do you mean your Spanish is better than mine? Aries, you literally have a Bori accent. Like that can't be true at all. That can't be true at all. You literally have an accent and everything. There's no way that's true. I'm very much like I'm a recovering no sabo. Like you finna get some. Oh wait, wrong tab. Or was it the right chat? Don't play with me, Aries. Don't play with me. Skya, today's Mother's Day in the US, and I miss my mom all day. No Sabos, rise up. Rise up, no Sabos. I respect y'all. I used to be one of y'all. I'm reformed, okay? I use my Spanish on a daily. I'm always speaking Spanish. It's got me in the habit of just practicing like how to say words. But I also just have a stutter. I just have a stutter. I developed a stutter as an adult, guys. I don't know what to tell you. Those pictures were so cute, and I love seeing my friends as little friends. Yes, and my brother Topher is in those photos too. Internationally here too. So Mother's Day just happens on the same day around the world. Like I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was like New Year's. I didn't know Mother's Day was like New Year's. There's no such thing as a no sabo. Y'all just not trying enough. No, I mean that's tea. I never call anyone that because at least people are trying. No, I know, I know. I think I used it as a term of endearment. I would never say that to people or more like generalize. Drag my mom to the kebab place I found yesterday. I love that you're like, I dragged her to eat. Mexico has a different Mother's Day. No, yeah, I feel like Mexicans and Dominicans. I feel like Dominicans are always like, on June 3rd, it's Mother's Day. Some countries have different ones. Okay, Momo, when is Canadian Mother's Day? Is it today? Because I owe some people some text messages. Mexico's is on the 10th no matter what. And my parents came to visit me. They haven't seen any of my apartments. Oh, that's awesome. Did they get to see it? Did they get to see yours today too? Are you living alone? I forget if you have roommates or not. What they think? Hi babe, welcome in. Thank you for checking in. Are you here? Bay is delivering my food, guys, from his mom's house. Canadians have a diff Thanksgiving. Yes, I knew that, and a different Independence Day. But Momo, was today Mother's Day or not? The jury's still out. Yeah, I live alone. Yeah, because I remember when you were first moving back into the city, you were probably gonna live with roommates. Mother's Day today. Okay, I definitely need to text some people about Mother's Day. I've been living at the current one for like 8 months. Okay, moving out in 2 months. Okay, so you're about a year, almost a year. You have lived there. That's cool. So I need to text some people. Yeah, there's one person in particular I'm thinking of that I need to text. I have a lot of texts to go through. Not to continue to gas Ryan up. Um, if it wasn't clear already, I'm like hella fond of him. But oh, BRB, food's here. Alright, guys, I'm back with food. Oh god, what are you guys talking? Okay, why are we spreading legs? And whose legs are open? And why don't we have fruit? Just kidding. Oh my god, this plate. Guys, you'll hear it. ASMR. Oh, it smells good. Until dawn. Yes, we're playing Until Dawn today. Why are y'all arguing? Hold on. Oh! Ryan! Ryan abusing his power. Okay, wait. Oh, so clearly he doesn't love Ryan as much as dinner. Yes, okay, wait. Well, I don't want to make Ryan cry. I needed to have a break. Oh. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, this needs some cebolla. Oh, there is cebollita. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. What I was saying about Ryan is that meeting Ryan has been one of the highlights of my year so far. And it's great to have found a friend that is really similar to me on Twitch. And I'm just so grateful that you're not tired of me yet. And Ryan's so good at communicating and so good at like reaching out and being there for people that it makes me want to be a better friend. And it's really woken me up a little bit. I want to know what Ark said. Now I can't see anything Ark said. Am I delusional right now? No, we're definitely playing Until Dawn. W mods. Moments for years for this moment for years. Wait, did you end up watching the movie? I did watch the movie and I actually really enjoyed it. Justin, you just saw the post you made of your mommy. She's such a baddie. That 90s right? My mom is the best. Like I love her. W Ryan. Yeah, we love Ryan. Like honestly. Bestina Aguilera, I love you, bestie, so I can never be tired of you. I know that I'm amazing and beautiful and has a you should play Rivals actually. Oh, stop. I can't play Rivals. Sorry, Arceus. I mean, it's not even Arceus who said that. Sorry, Aries. I can't play Rivals. Ooh. I said banish. Oh, I said, why is Rosa calling his legs Bible pages? I'm sick. I'm sorry, Ryan. I had to. Yeah, we're gonna play Until Dawn. Proof. Yes, you can play Rivals. Just boot up. I'm so bad at Rivals. I don't want to. So how do I ban streamer from their own chat? But yeah, did you watch the movie? I did. I watched the movie and I actually really liked it, but it was nothing like the game, and that's probably why I liked it. So I think with a new lens, I'm gonna start a new story. All right, we're starting. I'm okay with backseating, because I won't know what the fuck to do. I also like to like complete stuff, so like all the collectibles, anything I'm supposed to like need. Let me know if I'm missing stuff. Still, and play the game. The movie is so fun. I thought the movie was so much fun. Yeah, I think it's like explains the lore of the land that they're in, like where they're from and stuff, like why the things are happening. My thing is, I wish the game was like that. The movie was booty, no shade. Ah! I thought the movie was fun. Love that diva down. Wait, me needing to look her up because I'm bad at actors' names. Oh, she is a baddie. She is a baddie. Alright, is the game starting? You made my weird day so much better today. No, stop, Sky. I'm so happy. And I'm so sad. Like, not a concussion. I feel like you're just in a rabbit hole of bad luck. Now, who the hell is this?
Oh my god, I can't believe you actually did
I'm gonna
this.
keep eating while I watch.
Don't you guys think this is a little bit... Oh, come on. She deserves it. It is not her fault that she has a huge crush on Hannah's been making moves on him. I'm just looking out for my girl, Em.
Just because he's class pres doesn't mean he belongs to everyone. Mike is my man.
Yes, come over.
I'm not anybody's man.
Whatever you say, darling.
Hannah!
Oh, she is scary. Oh, I remember this. See, this part is so fucked up.
Mike.
Dude, remember when we were so into The Quarry? Okay, we're also gonna go back and revisit The Quarry. The Quarry was so good. The Quarry is so
Hannah.
good.
Hey, Hannah.
Hey, did you see that? Dad said it'd just be us this weekend.
Did you see that? It definitely wasn't me.
Josh.
I like The Quarry a lot. Like, I'm gonna literally waste time going around to find collectibles. Hannah, you look so damn hot.
God.
I didn't even finish
What if
reading.
our night
Guys, I
sister
read
get herself
slow.
into now? Ugh.
Can I read it?
Intervention time.
Girl. Could you hold it up a little longer? Like, come to the guest house at 2 a.m. Ew. Ew. Did she fall for that? I think there's a ghost in here. Yeah. Yeah, and Dark Pictures Anthology is actually like free with PlayStation, PlayStation Plus now, or at least for this month. So I think I'm also gonna play some of that. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. Let me. No, literally, Sky. Like that was such a long time ago. Even on stream, there's a huge sale for those. Oh, what? On Steam? Oh. I really don't know what I'm looking for. Is there really no, like, there are no collectibles to collect here? Surely. Or is this just a prologue? But they might go on sale to look right. Objects that glint can be. Oh, I see it. Oh, it's still the tutorial. Jeremiah Craig.
Jeez, Josh.
Hi, CJ. Welcome in.
Once again, brother.
I'm there.
Outdone us all.
Detective 8020. Wait, what's that? I'm here. I'm the prologue.
Glad you can make it.
Hi, prologue. Welcome in, CJ. ¿Cómo estás tú? How's your day today? Did you get to spend time with your mom today?
Maybe we should start with a little, you know, making out and see where it goes from there. Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, I dropped an onion, guys.
Oh my god.
Did y'all see that?
What? Oh my god.
Matt, what are you doing here?
Hannah.
I'm sorry,
Hannah,
Hannah.
hey,
This all
don't
got
mind,
out of hand,
just
but
a stupid prank.
man.
You guys are jerks. You know that? Hannah!
Josh. Fuck.
Oh, she deserves to own a gun. Yeah, give her a fucking gun.
Someone outside.
These are not her friends.
What the hell?
Hannah!
What's going on? Where's my sister going?
It's fine. She just can't take a joke.
It was just a prank, Han.
It was not a prank.
did you
You guys
do?
were doing revenge
Listen
porn on
around,
her.
Dad. That wasn't
Were you-
serious.
You jerks! Hannah! Hannah!
So, should we go after her?
I
Girl,
kind of think you're the last person she wants to see right now, Mike.
Oh, shit.
no, I was so frustrated with some of these characters. It was just a prank, Han. I go. Girl. I'm afraid, guys. Oh. Not the moose. Is the game audio? Wait, what happened to game audio? Is it crunchy?
Damn it.
No, it's definitely my capture card. Yeah, it's the capture card. Here, thank you for letting me know. No, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Yeah, the audio is a bit sparkly. Yeah, that happens all the time. Maybe it'll change now that I unplugged it. That fixed it? Yeah. No. Yeah, because I don't hear the crackling, you know? Like, it doesn't sound crackly on my end. It doesn't bother much. I appreciate that, and I think a lot of people feel that way. But I also like, I would prefer to not have that happen. Like, I would prefer to fix it for y'all. Okay, guys, I'm not gonna lie. Birds are the scariest thing in the world. Hannah, are you in the trees, Hannah? Hannah, are you in the snow, Hannah? Hannah girl, are you in this bush? Hannah, are you up there? Did you climb this tree, Hannah? Now, Hannah girl, where are you, Han? Oh, not the Jackie Tail, jeez. Hannah girl. Oh, she works at Geek Squad. CJ, no, I appreciate that. You sound like a blurp sound, my guy. Hannah, are you down here, Hannah? Come on, girl. It's okay, it was just a prank. Hannah! Why'd she scare me like that? Hannah, baby. Hannah. Are you in the bush? Girl, she's not even looking where the light is.
Hello?
Hannah. Is that a shoe? A shoe. Oh, that's not a shoe. Wait, what's this? Oh, I don't know. I think he's looking for Hannah. Could be wrong though. And the fuck is this? A totem? Okay, wait, I knew this. A death totem. So someone's gonna die because I went this way. Will it show me the clip again? No. Hi, Jam. Welcome in. Yeah, thank you for the shout out for Jam. Perhaps Hannah was the friends we made along the way. Okay, so I guess Hannah has to die, right? Hannah. Okay, I'm sick and tired of this. The music changed. Hannah.
Hannah!
Look, she's staying it too. We're all looking for Hannah. Hannah. She's not on the floor, bitch. There's the floor, bitch.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, what the hell was that, Hannah? Or who's this, Beth? She's not Hannah. We're looking for Hannah. Mia at the Hannah Montana. That ass. Me at the Hannah Montana 20th anniversary concert.
Hello? Hannah! Oh my god, you must be freezing. Here, take my coat.
I'm such an idiot. I'm so dumb.
Just a little bit.
Hannah? Better?
They split the tree. That's it. That's enough bad luck. Get up! Yeah, fuck your phone. What's up, Ed? Welcome in. How are you, bro? Welcome in. Me looking for my will to get up there. Me looking for Hannah, where are you, Hannah? Honestly, Hannah, you're a goner, girl.
Hold on!
A flamethrower? Guys, I don't know what to do. They lit up a room.
Before we begin, there are a few
Do you think that
things I
hurt?
need to
Honestly,
make
I think they
sure you
survived.
Understand. You see, no one can change what happened last year. The past is beyond our
I think that's
control.
exactly what
You
happened
have to accept
when I
this
played the
in
first
order to
time.
move
I fully killed them.
forward. But there is freedom. in
Jam, how are you today?
everything you do, every
Ed, how you
decision
been,
make
bro?
from
It's been a
now on
minute.
will open doors to the future. I want you to remember.
Hannah gotta
this.
go.
I
That's
want
what
you
I'm
to
saying. Let's
remember
trim the
this
fat.
as you play your
They're
game.
both supposed to die.
Every
Well,
single choice will
what's
affect your fate and the fate of those around you.
this guy's scary?
So, you have committed to commence with this game. This is significant, and I want to help you see it through. Sometimes these things can be a little scary, even terrifying, but I'm here to make sure that no matter how upsetting things may get, you will always find a way to work through it. All right. We will start with a simple exercise. Could you please pick up a card? And I want you to look at the picture on the other side and tell me what you feel about it. It is essential that you answer honestly
Been good,
in
thank
order
you.
to get the most out of this
Kiss
experience.
him. I know his breath smells like tuna and onions and rye bread. It's just a farm and a scarecrow. It's giving Wizard of Oz.
So, How
His
did
upper
that
lip
picture
nowhere to be
make
found.
you feel?
Yeah,
Let me
lipless
be
ass
honest.
hoes. Yeah, it makes me feel fucking scared.
Okay.
Like,
Honesty is good. What
happy?
do you think it is
Let
that
us be
makes
glad.
you feel uneasy?
Let us be grateful. I didn't hear his question. Did he ask why I feel that way?
Well, I see. I see.
Oh no, he knows I lied. He knows I didn't know.
The Scarecrow were not there. Would you feel comfortable staying there on your own for a period of time? Let's say a week, for example.
A week in a farm? No, I wouldn't.
Oh no? Why not?
I'd be both. ¿Por qué no los dos? I'd be lonely. I feel like I'm less scared being alone.
There's a fine line between the peacefulness of solitude and the loneliness of isolation. Perhaps this is something we
Guys.
can explore in the future.
This guy feels like the most cryptic therapist ever.
Because I'm afraid we're out of time. Not for now. Until the next session. And until then, try to surround yourself with friends in a place that makes you feel safe.
Guys, he's scary. Let us rejoicify that goodness could subdue. I love that. I love Wicked. This song is crazy. Oh, Dad? Oh, Death. The fact that Hayden Panettiere and Rami Malek are in this game is crazy. And then for the Quarry to have such a stacked cast, like, and Jordan Fisher. Don't forget about Jordan Fisher. And the fact that the Quarry also had just as like it felt like the equal, like an equal cast. Like the cast was so good for the Quarry.
Today is the one-year anniversary of the dreadful tragedy that took place on Mount Washington. Annie Klein was in charge of the investigation.
Like the fact that they got David Arquette in there. I love Rami so bad. He is fine.
1 year ago tonight, the Washington
I mean, who
girls
said
left
that?
the safety
Oh.
of their parents' lodge and headed out into a snowstorm.
Foul play.
Not officially.
To change
no.
therapist?
There
Why
is
is
one
that,
individual
Ed?
we're considering as a
What's
person of
wrong?
interest,
Are you trying to
but
get
his whereabouts
medicated?
are currently unknown. He has an interesting history with
Him
the
as
Washington
Josh,
family.
I'm like,
He had warned them against pursuing their construction project and claimed the land was sacred to his forefathers.
You know, there is
or him in
still an
general.
old sanatorium on the mountain.
Stars like, scratch that all the
My
time.
officers did search the grounds, but the girls themselves couldn't have made it that far.
Something about that mountain seems to breed tragic events.
More than you know, Marty.
Well, thank you for
More
joining
than
us,
you know,
Annie.
Marty.
With all the Washingtons tonight, with their son Josh, on this, the
I
anniversary
thought
of the
the
mysterious
weird guy was a
disappearance
therapist.
of
Oh,
Hannah and Beth Washington.
I thought you were talking about
Hello,
your
friends
own
and fans.
therapist.
Alright, let's do that again.
But yeah, maybe it's time to go to the new
All right.
therapist.
Well, hello, friends and fans. It's beyond awesome to have you guys all back this year. First off,
I was like,
gotta
Ed,
say,
I'm so happy you're in
super
therapy, and I'm
excited
so
to
happy you know
welcome
you
all my
need to change
pals
therapy.
back to the annual Blackwood Winter Getaway. Ah! So, let me just let you know. Let's take a moment.
I like that they
to
use the actor's likeness
address
too.
the elephant
Hate
in the
Josh.
room for a second. I know.
I forget who I
you're all
hated the
probably worried
most.
about me, and I know it's gonna be tough.
Trust
on
me,
all of us,
not
coming
worried
back
about you,
after
Josh. Not
what
worried
happened
about
last year,
you, not one
but
bit.
I
You
just
didn't
want
save your
you all to
sister.
know,
That's
um,
enough. You got too
it
drunk.
means-
You let her get fucking annoyed and
it means
harassed.
so much to me.
I am in therapy
that we're
though.
doing
Thank
this.
you, and it's going
And
well.
that
Love that. And it's going
I
well.
know
That's
it would
awesome.
mean
Everybody go to
so
therapy.
much to
Not gonna
Hannah
lie,
and Jess that
Sky. I
we're
feel
all
like you
still
and I would just
together.
hate playing
And
this
I'm
game.
thinking of them.
We were like, we hate them
I
all.
really
Kill
wanna
them.
spend some quality
Yeah,
time
die.
with each and every one of you.
But I'm trying to play this with like
Share some moments
a
that
new
we'll
set
never
of
forget.
eyes and a new
For-
experience.
For the sake of my sisters, and you know. Okay, so let's party like we're fucking porn stars, okay? Make this one trip we will never forget, all right? Yes.
Porn stars. All right, we made it. Time for our vacation. Memento Mori. 10 hours. All right. Can't remember if you played before or after the rework. We're already getting followed. Sam, Hannah's best friend, considerate, adventurous, diligent. Okay, I try to keep their personalities in play. Like, I want to do
Hello?
exactly what I think the characters do.
Someone there?
Yeah, you're getting fucking watched, girl. I think I played after the rework. It couldn't have been like, it probably was like 2 years ago. When was the rework? The camera? Yeah, but the camera's not moving. So. The gate's busted. Climb over, Chris. So Chris has already been here.
Damn it. Oh, Jesus, never mind.
Okay, I didn't know I was gonna shake it. I thought I was supposed to climb. You know, you've been playing it like 2 years ago. It hits me now how long I've known you. It's like, Sky, have you known me? You've known me for so long. Oh, I pressed the wrong button, guys. Damn, girl, climb the fuck over this wall. Like, damn. Thank you for lurking, Ed. I appreciate you for being here, bro. Before you leave, get your check-in. We have a new channel redeem. Back to Diablo. Enjoy your Diablo. No, yeah, we would hang out in Sky. I think I met you in like Nestle's chat before I started streaming. Nestle, like it wasn't soon though after we met that I started streaming. Yeah. Yeah, a few people have known me for like over 2 years now too. To think that I've been streaming for like over 2 years too. Is there anything glinting?
Aw. Hey, little
Snow
fella.
White head ass, just talking to the
Hungry?
fucking wilderness.
Huh? Ah, damn it. Hey, hey, hey. It's okay. That's it. Come on.
I didn't know I moved.
Cutie.
Guys, I didn't know I moved. Me as fuck as fuck? Do you like the wilderness, Rosa? Ryan, tell me you like birds and bees. Tell me. Well, yes. Oh, she starts to shiver. And years later, I learned that y'all were like huge fans of Wong, but I met Wong years before. Yeah. Like, I was a mod in Wong's chat like the year after he went full time. And that's where I met like Jaden. And then I met Nestle in Wong's chat as well. I am a Snow White head ass hoe. Ah. I love learning so much about you. Indigenous people and butterfly prophecies. Tribes who once lived in these mountains believed that butterflies carry dreams and prophecies of possible futures. The color of the butterfly indicated the nature of the prophecy. Black butterflies prophesied the dreamer's death. Danger. Red butterflies warned of the dangerous event. Loss. Brown butterflies foretold a tragedy affecting friends. Guidance. Yellow butterflies offered visions to help and guide. And fortune. White butterflies brought dreams of luck and good fortune. Okay. So we don't want black and we do want white. Sounds racist. This is yellow. So yellow is what? Oh. I think this is guidance. Oh, it'll tell me every time. Oh, I see. Interesting. So black is for the person who finds it. Guidance of a future choice. It's a bird thing, so leave the bird. Mystery Man. So I have to find clues. 1952. There's a bunch of stuff to find, guys. Any of your business. Guys. Slade Toki. I'm so going to forget these butterflies. Me too. On today's stream, we learned colors. Skya. No, but that ass. Me being nosy and looking for something else. Past is beyond our control.
Wow, graffiti all the way up here. Chris, you here?
Ooh, backpack.
Bag's here. Where are you? You're not in the bag.
Tell
are
me
you?
Kristen's stalking me.
Hello. What do we have here?
Girl, it's not your phone.
Maybe I shouldn't poke around Chris's stuff.
Uh-oh.
Chris?
Sam, hey, you made it.
Chris has a crush on Ashley. So not Sam. Methodical, protective, humorous. Okay.
Oh, so I found something kind of amazing.
What?
I'm not going to tell you. You got to see for yourself. Come on, it's this way.
Where?
Right around here. Gonna blow your mind.
Hey, Chris. Skya. Skya, no, we're coming at this fresh, friend. I remember I accidentally killed the bird the last time. But now that I remember, now I know that the guidance totem is telling me to let the bird go.
Ta-da!
Nah, bruh, I'm hating all of them. Period. We need a hater in the chat, you know?
Come
Beauties is not the word that comes to mind. Why is this even here?
What do you mean?
What the hell is a shooting range doing at the base of a ski lodge?
Dude, have you ever met Josh's dad?
Yeah?
He thinks he's like Grizzly Adams or something. Wanna try?
No, you go ahead, Grizzly.
All right, here goes.
Easy.
Nice shooting,
It makes me
Tibbs.
giggle.
All right,
Now it's truly.
not bad.
I think I was right there with you when I first.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess it was a wild case of beginner's luck.
Nah, I don't think so, girl.
Hidden Bandage here, my bye queen.
Well, anybody and their brother could shoot a bottle that big, that close.
Oh, right, because he wants to shoot the squirrel.
Nice shot.
Your ass just got sacked.
I killed the squirrel in the
Hey, Sharpshooter,
last
our
one.
ride's coming.
Wait, I'm just getting the hang of this.
Come on, Chris, the cable car.
Butterfly effect. Oh, now I'm Chris? Can I take the gun? Like, why doesn't he take this gun? I feel like it would be so helpful later.
Man, it is
I definitely remember killing the
definitely
squirrel.
weird coming back up here after a whole year.
Yeah, I swear, the moment I got here, it just all came flooding back.
Here goes fast.
Clue found! Water poster! Milgram, Victor Milgram.
Nice.
Hell.
You think we'll get a visit from America's Most
2.
Wanted?
Black
It's
and
like
White.
someone thought so.
Oh, come on. This place is
Wanted
abandoned
in
most of the
connection with the
year.
first
What,
degree
comes up
arson
here?
offense. Arson? Sounds like our guy. Anyone with information? 1998. Anyone? Various death threats. To who?
It must be really
Okay, so
good.
finding the clues will help me survive.
I
Obviously.
don't know how he keeps it all together. I'd be a wreck.
Well, just gonna have to keep an eye on him. Must be going through so much in these. Hey, that's weird. Door's locked.
Yeah. Josh wanted us to keep it locked to keep people out.
He said that? What people?
I don't know. He said they found people sleeping in the station one time.
Creepy.
That is creepy. Like, where the fuck are we?
Real gentleman.
Mr. Beardington, welcome back. How are you? Tell me about your Sunday. Tell me about your weekend. How are you doing today? Okay, I'm still playing as Chris.
What a crazy place to set up house.
I literally
matter how
said,
rich
I
you
think
are.
the same
Sounds
thing.
rich.
Like,
I only bought a
Hotan
mountain.
Sanatorium for healthy body and mind. Oh. It's like a wellness center. Is that a pool?
And I thought the car was closer.
Guess we gotta wait.
I'm starting to get the appeal
Oh, no.
of doing time at the shooting range. How long is this gonna take?
It's a big mountain.
Yeah. So beautiful in the day, but at night.
I wasn't
it's
planning on
nice.
being here for long today since I need a rest.
Sleeping in
But I'm
the
so hooked now.
You gonna publish?
No, please. Yeah, use this to go to bed.
The sleeping giant of Blackwood Forest.
Oh, shut up.
Can I open these lockers? See, that feels like I should be able to open the lockers. I want to see that note. Like, why can't I read the note?
Finally, you coming?
I'm doing alright.
Yeah, well,
busy
I was gonna
weekend which
stay
had
here
some
and
minor
catch the
drama
scenes,
thrown in.
but
You know, I'm not one to shy away from drama, but I bet you were right. And you could tell them that. I thought Mr. Beardington was right. Now I've been waiting for this moment for so long to watch you finish this game. Truly, you know you're right. You've been waiting long enough.
just like
We're gonna get through as much as we can today.
Here we go.
Right. Adventure begins.
Oh, I hope this was the right thing to do.
What?
You know, getting everyone together on the anniversary. I mean, Josh seemed really pumped about us all doing something, didn't he?
Yeah, no, he definitely did. I haven't seen him so excited about something in forever.
Good, good. It's hard to tell with him, and I don't know, I've kind of been worried.
No, it was a good idea.
I hope everyone else feels the same way.
We're all here, aren't we?
Thanks, bro. Good talk.
You know what? Let's just stop talking about what happened and enjoy the trip.
You know what? You're right.
You know how Josh and I met?
No.
Okay. 3rd grade. Josh sat in the back of the room, I sat in the front. We didn't even know each other existed. But the kid sitting next to Josh started strap-snapping the training bra on the girl in front of him. So the teacher made him move to the front, where I was sitting.
Okay,
So I got moved to the back.
and
next to Josh. That's how we met. I mean, and became friends to this day.
a match made in heaven.
If it weren't for the fact that Jeannie Simmons hit puberty like 3 years early, and on that day decided to wear a low-cut shirt that showed off her training bra, I mean, who knows? You could be riding in this cable car alone. Right now. Or talking to some other person entirely. Boom. Butterfly effect.
Yeah, no. Ooh, butterfly effect. And who the fuck is this bitch? Mike's new girlfriend, trusting, irreverent, confident. Great.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. New people. Time to meet and greet.
Like, I remember killing hate Jess. This guy. Like, I remember killing all of them.
What the hell?
Jess, hey.
Jessica, over here. Are you guys having a really weird stroke?
We're
Ew.
stuck in this stupid thing.
Can you please let us out? Pretty please?
Let them out. Ew, why is she so nasty to them?
My God. I thought we were goners. Another 10 minutes in there and I would have chewed off my own leg.
Oh, sick, Chris.
Look, got a lot of meat on my bones. It's all muscle down here.
Yeah, right.
Hey,
Well, what do we have
Chris.
here? My goodness. Seems that someone has a little crush on our good friend and dear class president Michael Monroe.
Chris.
Ooh.
And what kind of sizzling erotica might our Jessica be capable of imagining? I wonder.
I forgot what her character is like. Hold on. Honestly, she's kind of bitchy. I like that her face moves. I prayed for Jessica's life to end.
Mike and Em split. We're together.
Whoa. Drama.
Not really.
Yeah, drama is
Pretty
right.
clear cut, actually. Em's out, I'm in.
Oh.
All right. Let's just get up to the lodge already. It's getting tired of all this nature and junk.
You guys go ahead. I'm just gonna wait here for a bit. See who else is coming.
You mean Mike?
What? I mean, you know, whoever.
Girl.
Sam?
Did you see this view? I mean, holy cow. Sometimes I forget to just stop and take it all in.
Girl, it looks scary.
Seriously, couldn't they have built the lodge like right where the cable car ends?
Emily, Mike's ex. Resourceful, persuasive, intelligent. But a
I don't think it
bitch.
would have been like as pretty.
Emily's new boyfriend. Ambitious, active, motivated.
You know?
And where's the bellboy when you need one?
You know what? I'm taking your bags all the way back home. Just kidding. Steal them. Yeah, I'm going home. Goodbye.
I'm getting kind of creeped out.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be weird seeing everyone up here again.
Definitely not gonna feel like a regular party.
Take their shoes. I don't see a totem or anything.
But what do you think?
Jesus!
Okay, everybody's intelligent, but he's jumping out of nowhere to scare even me. Now what? Hate Mike.
You guys.
Skya.
Michael!
You really should have seen your faces right there.
Dude, I almost clocked you just now.
Nice one.
Michael, you're a jerk.
Come on. Guys, we're all friends here, right? No need for violence, just a little harmless fun. We're up in the woods, it's spooky.
Momo, put it away.
The spirit of things? Seriously, what's wrong with you?
Momo, how's your day today?
Trying to lighten the mood,
How's
Em.
your weekend?
Don't be
Let's
like
talk
that.
about it.
Like what?
The way you're being.
Is your
you
family
always get
like near you, Momo? Or is your family far? Let's just be nice.
Michael, I'm just gonna lay it out. Otherwise, this whole weekend's gonna suck ass for everyone. This is super awkward, and we all know it. Let's just acknowledge it now and move on, okay?
Matt.
I hear you, man. I get it. I
Ew.
don't want to make this weird.
Cool.
Don't
So we're good?
police your friend, your boyfriend.
You guys gonna make out now?
Oh my god, totally. We're so gonna make out. No, seriously.
I wouldn't be
Take the
opposed.
cable car.
Make out, make out.
See you, man.
See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Oh, crap.
What?
Hey, could you take these the rest
You're
of the
doing
way?
good. Okay, yeah.
The bags?
So your family's not
Yeah,
far.
All the
Were
bags.
you able to see them today at all,
Why?
or see
I
them
need to go find
recently?
Sam.
Those moves were
Okay.
gross. Like, why
Sorry,
was he like?
I really need to go find her. I totally forgot I needed to talk to her before we get all the way up there.
This really can't wait. We're almost there.
It's important, Matt, please.
Girl.
All right. Fine. If it's so important, I guess I can pack horse it the rest of the way. But you owe me one.
Excuse me?
Well, then we're even, at least.
I'll think about it.
Just be careful.
See you up there, sweetie. Thank you.
Ooh, I separated them. Ooh. Cause I'm not fucking carrying your bags back down. I'm not carrying your bags back down because you want to go talk to some girl who's not even there yet. Ashley has a crush on Chris. Oh right, Ashley and Chris have crushes on each other. Academic, inquisitive, forthright. Okay, so she's very blunt. Guys, it's 9:30 p.m. and y'all are outside. Like, I would be running indoors at 9:30 on a fucking...
Whoa, hello.
Oh, it's Mike.
Somebody's getting a little friendly. And not in the friend zone kind of way. I might need to check the expiration date on their big breakup.
Oh, so she's nosy.
Oh, God!
Sorry about that, Ash. I didn't mean to scare
Jeez
you.
Louise,
Well, I
Matt.
did mean to scare you, sort of scare you, but not like for real scare you.
Gosh, oh my gosh.
Hey, wow.
Okay, but I
I'm
got
really sorry,
scared.
Ash. Yeah.
It's okay, it's fine.
What are you looking at? Anything too sweet?
No clips.
Let me
of
check it out.
Screaming. Take a look.
Sure, go ahead. Knock yourself out, I guess.
Oh, son of a bitch.
Clock it.
Seriously, Emily? What the hell, man?
Hey, listen, it's probably
Clock it.
Nothing, you think?
Well, yeah.
Is it ever just nothing with him? Ever?
I don't know.
Damn it.
Matt. Oh, you did not just do that.
Is that Mike?
Put your hands where I can see.
She really waited for Mike, like Chris and the other girl.
But who am I to retaliate? What choice do I, a supple young rebel girl, have but to surrender to the strapping military guard come to take me into custody?
Oh, sneaky, sneaky.
Sing!
Crap.
Gotta try harder than that, hero.
Where are you hiding, little chickadee? Oh, ah! Hey!
Oh, snap!
Hell yeah, I'm gonna do everything I can. Not the bird.
Hello? Come on. Hey, Mike! Boom, shakalaka!
Oh, you got me. Fair enough. Okay.
Sometimes
You
doing
can't
nothing
hide
is the
from
right
me,
thing to
Michael.
do.
I know all your tricks.
Not the tutorial telling me not to throw it at the bird.
Whoa! Ow!
Right.
Come on, just.
And then what?
Oh,
No more.
oh yeah. Oh, more. Oh, you're going down.
Shoot his nutskis.
Gotcha. Done.
Ooh, get
Done.
off of her.
So did I go down?
I don't think so.
I think you'd know so if I did.
All right, all right.
My. So are we calling it my favor then?
You're a worthy opponent, Miss Jessica, the Snowball Queen.
Okay, that sounds
Fuck
vaguely
it.
dirty.
My lady.
Like, why not? Kiss. Y'all be wanting it. Y'all horny for each other. I'll let you do it.
Wow. Save some for later, buddy.
Endless reserves. We should get up to the lodge.
Yeah.
Who H
It's
word?
so nice out
Mike
here,
and
though.
Jessica, apparently.
Pretty breathtaking.
I mean, I could stay out here for pretty much ever, provided I was making out with you the whole time.
Just making out?
Quote unquote.
Well, I think we might freeze to death somewhere in between those quotes.
Yeah.
She really waited there for him, like the other two didn't just leave. Who's this? Back in the therapy chair.
Hello again. And how are we feeling? I trust that you have stayed in the company of good friends since our last session. This time, we're going to try to understand the root of your anxiety. Now pick up that book, turn the pages. You will see a set of pictures and symbols. I want you to identify which image in each set make makes you the most
Like his hands and his head are so big. Makes me the most nervous. I feel like I fear heights less than I fear less than I fear drowning. Crowds? Men? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't mind snakes. Rats are nasty. Exactly. I think I would say knives are scary because they do more damage. Like at least like a gun will like literally instant kill you. A knife like you'll bleed out. Rats scare me. I fear cockroaches. I feel like I don't fear cockroaches as much as I fear rats. Rats are gross. Like rats are nasty. Oh, you're not interested in all my answers. Clowns scare me. I fear scarecrows. I'm not scared of either. But if I had to go based on the drawing, I would go with the clown because scarecrows are inanimate and the clowns are real. You know what I mean? The fuck is that? Are those body parts? Is that a heart? Crows are scary. Gore disgusts me. Crows aren't scary, but gore does disgust me. Like I find that stuff kind of gross.
Oh. Did I startle you? So sorry. You're doing very well.
Why the fuck would you do that?
Don't be nervous.
Like, what's his problem?
Speed up a bit. The more you rely on your instincts, the more honest your answers will be, and the more enlightening you will find this experience.
So I'm going too slow. Okay, rats will always be scarier than spiders. I like spiders. I don't like gore. I don't mind needles. It's gore that I don't like. He don't even give a fuck about my answers. I think clowns are still scary because zombies aren't real. Like, clowns are real. No, I don't fear dogs. Sorry, Skya. We're going to skip through this. Skya is actually scared of dogs. Storms. Okay, wait. We have a contender. I'm going to go with gore still. But storms can be scary.
This is very interesting.
Is it?
Thank you for answering so diligently.
Ew! Close your mouth.
Rats, clowns, and awful. Ooh. The sun combination sounds like a good Friday night.
Guys,
Well,
this guy
I'm
kind of
afraid
sucks.
Once again, we're out of time, but I promise we'll talk again very soon.
Storms can be scary. Yeah, storms can be totally scary. I'm very scared of lightning. Like, lightning actually scares me so much. But thunder, I like thunder, but I hate lightning. Is that weird? When do we get guns? Yeah, to beat that guy up. Yeah.
Don't you guys think this is a little bit...
Oh, come on. She deserves it.
Hannah! What's going on? Where's my sister going?
It was just a prank, Han.
Han, it was just a prank. Censoring men is so
I
funny.
gotta say, I am super excited to welcome all my pals back to the annual Blackwood Winter Getaway. I really want to spend some quality time with each and every one of you and just share some moments that we'll never forget. For the sake of my sisters.
I need to go find Sam.
No, because you're all gonna die.
Bitch. So I got moved to the back and next to Josh. That's how we met. Boom. Butterfly effect. Man, I feel like this mountain gets
Jealousy.
bigger every time I climb it.
9 hours until
feel the
dawn.
same
So are
with
there
me.
10 chapters? Oh, Josh. Hannah and Beth's brother. Thoughtful, loving, and complex.
Come on, you grew up here. It probably feels like it's shrinking.
I guess that's true.
When are you gonna install some cell towers up here? I'm getting withdrawals already.
You got a spare million lying around, and I'll fix you right up.
Funny you should say that. I think I left it in my other jacket.
Oops. Hey guys, get up here okay?
Yeah. Well, more or less, but it is so good to see you.
What's up with him?
Here we go. We're getting followed.
Yo, yo, yo. We get things moving up here or what?
Yeah, man.
Doing all right?
Hey, you doing all right? I mean, I know it must be really tough without your sis.
Stop.
I just meant that.
No, I know what you meant. You know, seriously, I'm over it, and I want us to have a good time, you know? Like we always used to.
Excuse me.
Damn it. It's a freaking thing.
It's iced.
What else?
Maybe there's another way in.
There are a million ways in, they're just all locked.
Isn't this his
There's
house?
gotta be like a window around the corner we can get open or something.
Wait a second, are you saying we should break in?
To your
I don't
house?
think it's technically breaking in if you own
Right.
the place, right?
Hey, not if I don't report you. Lead the way, coachies.
Also, it's fucking snowing, and Rami is out here with a vest. A vest? His sleeves are pulled
Hi,
up.
Chris.
I think he's gonna say it's
You doing
weird.
all right?
Yeah. Aside from being kind of cold and vaguely creeped out by this place.
Bagley.
It's kind of weird being back up here, huh?
Yeah.
Period. We all agree. It's weird. It's weird that a year after your sisters randomly go missing, / me, I killed them. You're just inviting
Pretty hot today,
all of
right?
your friends who harassed your sister back?
She's like a sleeper hit kind of gal, you know? Now I just want to rip that Parker right off of her and make some snow angels, right?
Ew. What is this script?
No. Absolutely.
When are you gonna take her to the Bone Zone?
Like that could ever happen.
Come on, man. She practically spends her
The
entire
Bone
life with you
Zone?
as it is.
Well, yeah, but we're like friends.
Listen, dude, look around you. Look at these beautiful mountains. Do you see any parents? I mean, can you imagine a
These
more
people are
perfect
35
life
years
scenario
old.
just dripping with erotic possibilities? You.
I told
can
you,
have
everyone's
alone at
horny.
last. You've laid all the groundwork.
Everyone's
You've been a
horny in
perfect
this game.
gentleman. Now, you come in for the kill.
Rami, what are you talking about? He's looking over his shoulders. Thank you for lurking, Aries. I appreciate you, Papa. Thank you, mi body. Thank you for being here. Guys, do I agree? Are they in their 30s in this? No, they're literally in high school. They're like
Maybe you're
seniors in
right.
high school.
You're a hunter, bro. No fear, no mercy.
No, they're acting like teenagers. No, they're definitely in their high school.
All right, I got it.
Good luck with work, Aries. Are we agreeing to Bone Zone? Honestly,
So, how
we
was
should
your
all
night?
agree to
Meeting at
Bone
my
Zone.
parents' lodge, bud.
I didn't say I had a plan.
You sounded like you had a plan.
But also, like, wouldn't your parents, like, prepare you to go over there? This feels like a setup, like, for
Freezing their
real.
buns off. And last time I checked, that's not a good way to get laid.
Damn, like,
Nobody
you're
likes
just interested in
puns.
fucking. Aren't y'all friends? like the sound of crunchy snow under boots.
Damn, I'm getting pretty low in juice here. I just gotta turn off my GPS. I'm finally like
Yeah, we can't get up
outside where I might actually use it.
Can you cool it on the phone, Tom?
What? Why?
That's pretty much all you talk about. Well, 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 we got ourselves a thinker. Nice one.
We should all agree to the bone zone. Crunch snow is the best. I love crunching the snow under your boots and stuff. Like, I love that sound. So, like, soothing.
Oh, I'm okay.
What a fucking idiot.
Paid
Like,
more attention in climbing class.
there was a desk
Jim?
right there.
Yeah, you know, with the climbing up the rope.
What's high school age? Like 16 to 19? It's like
Whoa.
it's like 14 to 18.
Did I do that?
The school system
I
is
don't
weird in my
think
country,
so.
so I don't know. It's like 16
Here,
to 18 is high
Use
school.
this.
Or 14 to 18 is high school. Like, I started high school at 14.
Whoa, Chris, I just got an awesome idea.
Yeah?
Totally.
What is it?
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that I've got some deodorant in one of the bathrooms. You could use that with the lighter.
I don't follow.
You
How
could
the
use
hell is
that.
Deodorant gonna help?
Spray on, it's a can.
Oh, yeah. Now I gotcha.
Flamethrower.
Just like we did with the little army dudes.
Yep, ones we melted. Just point the spray can in the lighter and whoosh.
Bye-bye frozen lock.
Bingo. All right, so you got this. I'm gonna go sort something out. You up for hunting around in the dark for a little bit?
Nope, but I'll do it.
Godspeed, Pilgrim.
After 16? Wait, what? If I wasn't living with my mom after 16, I'd probably crush it. Yeah, it depends on when you start school and your birth month, if you're older or younger. Yeah. A totem! Oh god, I'm scared. Lost totem? The potential loss of a friend. So Sam could get burned. I'm looking for deodorant, right? I don't like that noise. I'm scared. Ex-janitor convicted for arson swears revenge on movie mogul's family. Victor Milgram, 52, was yesterday sentenced to 16 years in prison for aggravated arson committed on Blackwood Pines. Milgram was employed as the janitor of the Mount's Old Hotel for 28 years. However, when Hollywood producer Bob Washington acquired the property, Milgram was fired. In a sensational twist, the sentencing ended with an enraged Milgram screaming obscenities at Washington's heavily pregnant wife, Melinda, calling her a fucking whore. You fucking whore! He vowed to get all of you, your fucking husband and kids. I was gonna say something else, and said that he would never make, and he said that he would make them suffer. Melinda had visibly struggled to maintain her composure throughout the case, and later claimed that though she was upset by Milgram's threats, she had full faith in the legal system to keep her and her family safe. Excuse me. Someone's in here with me. I can feel it.
Looks cool.
Clue found. The twins. Oh, the twins being the two girls. Hannah and Fana. We're gonna call her Fana because I don't remember her name. Hannah and Fana.
Huh? The hell was that?
The door closed, brother. The door is closed. What's that noise? I want to make tea. Make some tea. Not them freezing out there.
Hi, Chris. Very funny.
Oh, how'd you know it was me?
Shouldn't you be, like, getting the lock open or something?
On it.
See, that would be me. I can't even be mad because that literally would be me. Glass just broke. I don't know what. I guess it's not turning on. Guys, I'm so scared. I'm just looking around for clues. Ready for senior prom. There's so much noise happening upstairs. Like, please. Locked. Another photo. Josh with his lovely sisters, Hannah and Beth. Looking great, guys. Okay. I'm finding all the clues, which is good. Hannah and Fana. Yeah. His sisters, Hannah and Fana. I don't like all this noise. Like the creeping is crazy. That's a clock.
What the fuck? Ah. Perfect.
That scared the shit out of me. Guys, I'm vulnerable. Everything's scary. Not me screaming. You scared me. I'm sorry. I was scared. Like, what the fuck is that? A raccoon? What the pig?
What was it? Are you okay?
I don't have any idea.
Bear or tiger or something.
It was neither.
Just a cute little baby Wolverine.
Baby.
Don't worry, buddy.
You Wolverine? That sounds hideous and scary. Oh hell no. Doing the most.
Sweet home.
Sweet is not the word I use.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be inside. Even if it's still kind of freezing in here.
I'll get a fire going.
This place barely looks any different.
Yeah, nobody's been up here.
Even with all the police coming in and out?
Not a lot of action up here lately.
No. What's up, party people?
Hi.
Hey.
And where's Emily?
Make yourself at home, bro.
Will do.
Yeah, come on in. Take a load off. Have whatever you want. You just take whatever you want anyway, right?
Ooh.
Whoa. Easy there, cowboy.
What the hell were you doing with M out on the trail?
What?
I saw you and M at the telescope.
Before? We just ran into each other. Been a while, so we hugged and I said hello. Is that against the law?
I don't want him to be aggressive.
Right. Yeah. Duh. Sorry, it's been kind of a long day. I overreacted.
Nah, man. Don't worry about it.
We cool?
Yeah, totally.
Now where is she? She's the only one missing. Oh, there she is.
Oh my god, that is so gross. Are you trying to swallow his face whole? I mean, seriously, can she be any more obvious? No one wants in on your territory, honey.
Excuse me? Did you say something?
Oh, did you not hear me? Was your sluttiness too loud?
Sounds like someone's bitter she didn't
Ooh.
make the cut.
Yeah, it's all a big cattle call with that dreamboat. Congrats, you're top
Ooh.
That's real deep calling Miss Homecoming a cow.
You are a cow.
Hey, you're making everyone uncomfortable, Jess.
Jealous much? Emily too frigid for you too.
Hey, that's uncalled. Look,
Whatever. I don't give a crap what you think.
At least I can think. 4.0 bitch, on a roll. Suck on
Ah,
that.
period.
Dwayne your
Period.
job.
At least I can
You've got
think.
all the
I love
natural
that.
advantages you can handle.
Oh, please.
You couldn't buy a moldy loaf of bread with your skanky ass.
Are you serious? Do you think that's insulting?
That bitch is on crack or something.
What is wrong with her? Diffuse or provoke? Should I just diffuse?
Emily, stop. This is out of hand. There's no reason to fight like this.
Yeah, Em. Why you picking fights over your ex-boyfriend, huh?
Stop it! This is not why we
Yo,
came up here. This is
Jess
not helping.
sucks.
It's not what I
Let's
wanted.
kill her.
We played along for
Feed
10
her to
minutes
the
and maybe we
dogs.
Need a little bit of a break, right?
Tug on Pippi Longsucking Wig
Why
again,
didn't you
Emily.
check out
Yeah.
the guest cabin
Yeah.
when I told you?
Yeah. Hit her again.
Yeah.
Fuck her.
All right. Wanna go?
Ryan.
Any place
Yeah,
without
let's
that?
go. We should all agree.
Right up the trail.
I didn't want to add it.
Glad that's over.
Yeah.
So, Josh, should we get this fire going?
Where's my bag?
Huh?
My bag, the little bag with the pink pattern, the one I got on Rodeo. Matt, are you listening? Oh my God, don't you remember next to the Italian shoe place where I got the stilettos and you knocked over the rack while you were drooling all over that girl at the counter?
Well, I mean,
Damn, Emily, chill.
Right, because she
I listen
gave a
to the
shit about
people,
your
and that's why you're around.
designer leather
That's why you
jacket.
stick
why
around.
do you hate my jacket?
Matt, I need my bag.
Oh my God, Em, maybe you just forgot it.
Do you seriously think I'd forget my bag?
Well,
Yes.
Do you?
Yes.
guess not.
You must have left it down by the cable car station. Come on, hon. We'll be back soon.
And then we can get warm.
We can get very warm.
Okay.
Honestly, these 18-year-olds suck. I'm remembering why I hated them.
Okay, I'm gonna go take a bath.
Skya, we hate them all. Like, damn, Emily, like, chill. Chill the fuck out. Like, you're strung out. You're 18. Relax.
Exiled.
Sexiled.
Works for me.
Honestly, these two suck too.
How far is this cabin anyway?
This cabin is the coziest, most romantic love den you will ever.
I'm remembering the game.
If we ever make it.
Like, we get it, bitch. You have a bag and you
Well,
left it behind
Well,
and you
your
made your
cousin
man
and
walk
maybe
them
you will get
bitches
lucky.
all the way up by
Hey,
himself.
porn stars. Gonna
You
need
too busy
these.
hugging Mike.
I'd pay to see it.
Gross.
Hey, I'm sorry to kick you out.
Rami just like me for real.
Yours, man. Oh, I'm sure you'll find a way to entertain yourselves.
Okay, Josh. Yeah, just like me for
You have
real.
fun with
I'll
the
watch.
peanut
I pay to
gallery.
watch. I'd be there for free.
Oh, I almost forgot. Gotta fire up the generator so you can see where you're going. It's dark out there.
Alright. Roger that.
I think Josh was flirting with me.
Okay.
I think
Wanna
you
find
need to
out
shut the
with us?
fuck up.
Wait, really?
What? No.
Okay, why let me walk over here if there's nothing to see? Girl. Like, she kind of sucks.
Hey, Hot Lips. Photo booth?
All right.
Ooh, speaking of Hot Lips, there's this plant called Hot Lips.
Okay.
Oh my god. This is perfect. We're like the cutest couple.
Damn. You should be a model.
You keep that camera handy, and maybe I'll let you start my portfolio at the cabin. Wink.
What 18-year-old's like, yeah, take pictures of my tet. What is happening?
Burr, it is freezing.
Okay, she did not real life say burr.
And how are you gonna do that?
Mike, though. Or wait, I forgot. Stop, Momo! Es que no podía leer que dijiste tú. Now I have to go back, check in on your thing, on your chat log, see what the hell you wrote. Oh, I forgot they're in high school. They're literally like seniors in high school, maybe. It's okay, Momo.
Not a lot of
It's H-word hours, you know. It's horny hours. Justin, mind your business. You know, I can't. Hannah. Oh wait, we're not. Hannah's dead. What are we looking for? Cabin? Cabin!
Emily's as dumb as she looks if she thinks she can cut in on what we got going on. Maybe if we're lucky, she'll try and follow us.
Why
out
the
here
fuck
and
you keep talking about Emily and what she has to do with this? Yeah, ease up on M. You were just hugging on her.
Yeah, she's a handful. But maybe ease up on her. She's still kind of torn up from being dumb.
Hello. Not my problem, Mike, and not yours either.
No, I mean, of course not. I'm just saying it's not worth kicking her when she's down.
Okay, guys, let's vow.
I'd much rather
One's
spend
in
my
chat
time
if Jessica
getting
should
down
die.
with you.
Because she about to fucking
See
die.
what I
We're going to make sure of
did
it.
there? I did that for you.
Yeah, okay. But she better stay down is all I'm saying.
And who the fuck is you? Dude, Jess got another thing coming if I'm going to choose her over Emily. You got me fucked up.
Huh. Guess this thing needs juice or something.
Didn't Josh say there was a generator?
Yeah, but not through the gate. So we have to go back?
Mike, wouldn't it be nice to fire up the Jenny and get moving?
What's a Jenny?
Where's the generator?
Hey, Mike, gonna find the generator or what?
I'm trying to find it. Dude, this girl sucks. Justin for Jessica. Momo, get.
I
Momo.
wish you could generate a little excitement about getting that freaking generator to work.
What generator,
Yell
girl?
at it like you're yelling at me. Let's see if that works.
Also, us kill them. Yeah, we can kill them, but we can't fuck them. Okay, Allie?
Mike, generator.
Dude,
Alright,
I'm about to
got it.
silence this bitch. Where's my gun? Where's my gun? Girl, I don't know where this generator is. I just got here. I just got born today. Allie. Get the hell out of my way. I'm looking for the generator that you're so fucking... Okay, so yeah, we came this way. But where's the generator? Is it in this shack? Mike, I would appreciate it if you started the generator. It's like, girl, relax. Like, I don't even know where the fuck it is. Totem. Is it black? Oh, it's danger. What does that mean? The threat of a future danger. Oh, man.
All right. Let's see. Boom. Nice one, Mikey.
Woo! You are a wizard.
Yeah, you were bitching and moaning outside. Where was this energy outside? Okay, what if I turn around and I look through the window? Is he still there? Nope. Don't clips! Guys, it's just jump scares. No. Guys, we're being followed. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Zam! The gates shall open.
Okay, but close it, girl.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Chow will make a compilation of Jester getting scared.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
scared.
I bring the hits.
Is he under the river?
You psyched yet? You
No.
don't look psyched yet.
Yeah, because you kind of suck.
So psyched right now.
It's like a little adventure. A sexcapade.
Like, you're horny as hell. Like, she just want to fuck, to be honest. She's like, yeah, you ready to have sex? You ready to take off your clothes and have sex? Like, girl, chill.
Police tape.
From Hannah and Beth.
You think they'd clean it up?
Well, they never closed the investigation.
Okay, I'm getting the creeps now.
Well, wherever they are, I'm sure they're happy we're all thinking about them.
That's a nice way of thinking about it.
Okay. You're weird.
Did you hear that?
I heard something. Yeah.
The fact that they're outside in the dark, like, kind of, it's crazy. 'Cause I would never be outside like this. In the snow?
I don't think we can get up to the cabin with the path block like
Like, you got me
No
fucked
way
up.
am I going back to the lodge, aka Wax Museum, to drink hot chocolate with Emily. You know what? Fuck it. We're adventurous. We will find another way around.
I don't wanna. I'm remembering all of this. I think this is literally as far as we've gotten. She's not that far.
Holy crap, you scared the heck out of me.
How do you think I felt?
You didn't hit your head or anything.
Me being Jessica's fuck. Can we not?
All 7 of my limbs.
7?
Yeah. Can you get out?
I don't know. I can hardly see anything down here.
All right, Jess, there's a cart. I think if you can push it, you can get by.
All right. Okay, let me just try. It's too heavy.
You want me to go down there and push it for you?
Hey, so, babe, you see the little gap down there? Between the cart and the wall?
The tiny little gap?
Yeah, maybe you can...
Get your little skinny white ass through the gap.
Through it or something.
I appreciate your confidence in my physique, but I don't think the ladies are gonna fit.
Oh, with the... Right. Okay. Gotcha.
I feel like your skinny ass could fit there.
So, why don't you either toss that light down or, you know, be a hero and jump down here to assist me?
Oh god, I'm scared. Do I want Mike to die? I don't care if Jessica dies, but do I want Mike to die?
All right, Jess, I'm gonna drop the light down. Okay? Look alive.
What?
All right, just a heads up. Get it?
Yeah, I got it.
You needed the light to squeeze through the hole? Like, just squeeze through. Like, I don't understand why she needed the flashlight. She said she couldn't do it because her tits were big. And now what?
Jess! Jess, what the hell? What was that? Are you okay?
I saw something.
What?
Something moved.
Okay, it's probably just like a bat or something.
A bat?
All right, coming after you. Just stay put.
My bats have rabies.
And COVID.
Bite you?
Okay, that's what bats do. They bite me. Well, hello.
Hello.
Shall we?
Annoying as hell. And where are the bats?
Whoa!
Oh, holy crap! Oh my gosh, are you okay?
Dude, she would just be screaming.
Yeah, I'm fine.
She's just loud as hell.
Oh, Nelly. This place is giving me the willies. And not the good kind of willies.
And who the fuck is Willie?
Offer you a little comfort and reassurance.
We'll save it for the cabin buster.
Another totem. Oh, a white one. And why was Jess naked? Survival instincts of a fart. No, literally. Why it gotta be white? That's what I'm saying. What, like, why do the white ones have to be fortunate? Why not green? I didn't scream that time, but I did get scared. I did get scared.
I think this place is up to code.
Yeah, I'm thinking it's time to go.
You're literally the reason we're down here, girl. What the fuck is this?
Stogie.
We're fixed to hang out and smoke cigars.
Cigar stuff. Oh, we're missing 2 clues.
It's recent.
Recent.
Whoa.
We missed 2 clues, guys.
This place is like historical.
Holy bat cave.
He's gotta be Native American, right?
I don't think the miners were getting their arts and crafts on, no.
No, it's like a shrine or something.
A shrine to what?
I'm confused. Also, she walks with such confidence. Like, why are you ahead of us?
Jesus. This place is a real fixer-upper.
Finally, a little ray of hope.
Another totem. It's white. Oh no. Yellow. Oh no, it's brown? That shit don't look brown. I can't tell what color that is. Is that Jess dying? Any of your business. Chris was happy to see Sam. Sam respected Chris's privacy. Chris was happy to see Sam. Chris continues to trust Sam. Chris chose not to shoot the squirrel. Nature remained in balance. Ashley encouraged Matt to use the telescope. Matt saw Mike and Emily flirting. Matt saw Mike and Emily flirting. Matt confronted Mike. That makes sense. Matt sided with Jessica during the fight with Emily. That's not true. That is just simply not true. Because you were siding with Emily until it was too much. Like, hello? Oh, Mike sided with Emily. Yes, that's true. Yeah, because Jessica, honestly, Jessica could choke. What's over here? Cabin. Found it.
Well. When Josh said cabin, I felt like Abe Lincoln.
Wait till you see the Lincoln bedroom.
Oh,
Girl.
planning on getting presidential on me?
Take a ride on Air Force One?
Ew.
Save it for the stump speech, buddy.
What is wrong with
Oh,
them?
a telescope. Gonna look at the trees, gonna look at the clouds, gonna look at the cabin. Whoa.
You alright?
I just saw someone at the cabin.
So how come she's seeing all these people and I'm not seeing anybody?
Hey, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
Stay close by, okay?
What's up?
This posting says there's some brown bears up here sometimes.
Black Pines, inhabitants of the mountain, northwestern wolves. A legendary carnivore, this powerful predator is known to attack elk, caribou, and any stricken animal they come across. Alberta, the hunting and
hug a bear.
baiting of wolves is permitted on private land. Alberta? So they're in Canada. You'll be glad to know that wolf numbers are kept well under control here in the Blackwood Pines. Grizzly bear, an omnivore with a strong predilection towards scavenging. The grizzly is not known to turn down any meal. Its preferred diet is fish, salmon, bass, trout. The animal is often found near rivers or mountain streams. Though extremely dangerous, grizzly bear attacks humans remain rare. Fuck! Rocky Mountain elk. The magnificent elk has roamed these lands for thousands of years. Though they are often quite docile creatures, the dominant males are known to aggressively defend their harem from any intruders, leading the brutal bouts of headbutting and chirping, which we saw some elk. We saw some elk earlier in the game.
Okay. Let me see.
Now, what the hell was that? How come he didn't say anything about it? Can I look again?
Sampling the old eggnog again, babe? It's just us up here.
Maybe.
Okay, but he also saw it and he didn't react. Makes me think it's a lie. Well, the cabin's this way. M'lady.
Watch out, bird brain.
Just answering his mating call.
Wow, you're easy.
Yeah. Got a lot of love to give. I'm scared.
Yo, Jessica sucks. Guys, I'm getting tired. As if she wasn't scared. Yeah, like dead ass girl. Like you keep seeing people that I don't see.
God damn it, Josh. Couldn't you have at least cleared out the path before sending us up here?
Really?
What?
I didn't figure you for the glass half empty type.
You got a better idea?
Stand back, Debbie Downer.
Oh, boo! Show off.
Hey, Mike. You've got something on your face.
Ah.
Boo!
Okay. Okay. Well, that's how it's gonna be.
The music.
Jess? Jess!
me get this fire going?
Well, I was just getting into the bath.
Oh. Oh, do you need any help with that?
Hardy har. Come on. All right, Josh, let's see if you know how to hook up the hot water in your big fancy lodge.
Looking for a movie? That's fine. No worries. We're not gonna be on much longer. I'm getting really tired again. But we'll try to end at 3 hours. Girl, you can't walk this way? That doesn't make any sense. Why are you stopped? Ria, thank you for the check-in, friend. 12-hour stream. Soon come, soon come. Soon come. And then I streamed another 9 hours. And then what?
What was that?
Does she hear the music? Ria, how are you doing, friend? Thank you for the check-in. How are you doing, Ria? Did you have a good day today? You get to go home and spend time with mom? Okay, so I have to go up here. Clearly. And then you stream another 10 on top of that. Que rico, king. Oh. Ronnie! Welcome in, guys. Thank you so much for the raid. How are you, Ronnie? Oh. Thank you for the shout out. Ronnie, how are you? We're playing Until Dawn. I've already screamed a million times. Johan Smith. Oh, another clue. Thank you for the raid, Momo, you double agent you. Hi, Omar, welcome in. Guys, get your check-in. The raid sent me to hell. Wait, is this hell? That's news to me. How are you, Omar? Yeah, get your check-ins. Hi, Biscuits. What's up? Welcome in, Biscuits. How are you doing? I got left behind. How are you? I'm good. Spoiled Ronnie. I should be spoiled. Yeah, period. Spoil your baby mama today.
Gee, Hannah. Crush much?
Who is that, Mike? Yeah, Mike really does suck, huh? She's just in a dead girl's bedroom? That's crazy. You're working, sorta? Ooh, what you working on? You're at work?
Hello, could this be any more about Mike?
Mostly sees, uh-oh, this is not going to work. He's like a crazy, reckless hunk of a man, and you're staying at home working on your embroidery and practicing G minor on the piano. Give it up! Or do something, like, really wild. Run away from home and get a tattoo or something. Anything to attract his precious attention. I mean, if it's for love, right? So just do it. Damn, that is crazy. That pick me energy. Is you ready to run? No, of course. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother. Wish Ronnie a happy Mother's Day now. Happy Mother's Day, Ronnie. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate you. Okay, we saw this. Wish Ronnie a happy... Yeah, exactly. Wait. Why does the therapist have this? Why does the therapist have this photo? Wait. Wait, pick it up again, girl. I want to read the back. The dots. They're dotting. Hannah, Josh, and Fana. You are invited to Sam's Halloween party, October 31st, 2013. Fancy dress obligatory. GG easy from your therapist. Exactly. Therapist bought it from the same store. Alright, well, I guess we're done here. Moving on. After snooping the dead girl's room. What game is this? Omar, this is Until Dawn, which we're replaying. Because we started it on stream maybe like 2 years ago, and then I think I was so like annoyed with the characters I did not care enough to finish, but I think we're determined to finish this time around. Even though tonight I've been yawning, so we only will play probably for like another 30 minutes.
My money's on blankets for everyone.
You can do it, man. We believe in you.
Yeah, totally. Woohoo! Let's go, Josh. Let's go.
Woo! Okay, I've heard of it but never played before. Yeah, I played this before.
You know what? I got an idea for you too.
What?
And I played the Quarry, and I think because I played the Quarry, I wanted to play this. But I didn't like the characters. Like in the Quarry, at least the characters are very likable. Like you like all the characters for the most part. Like even the bitchy character isn't crazy, you know. These people suck. They're like, you're a slut. You deserve to die. Your tits are huge. Slide through that little crack. I want to fuck you. Like they're all weird here.
Place we used to have a spirit board.
A what?
Wow, you have a spirit board?
yeah, they're fun, right?
Those things are a joke, man. They don't do shit.
No way, bro. I mean, we used to do it all the time. Me and well,
Josh,
Hannah and
you know
Fana.
hot water's kind of major oversight, don't you think?
yeah, you just gotta fire up the boiler. It's in the basement. All right, you guys see if you can find the spirit board.
Chris, let's go find it. It'll be like a scavenger hunt.
Okay. Guess so.
Brad, I mean, you're not gonna regret it. You up for a ride along?
She doesn't say anything. Not after I find some clues. I think that makes it on. I already touched it once. Nope, go in here first. That's the door. There's the door, bitch! Doors that weren't locked before, locked.
Hey, you notice how I gave Chris and Ash a mission together? Yeah, I was
Yep.
thinking they could use some alone time.
They are very sweet together. I wish they'd just freaking get on with it already.
I swear, they
Period.
just need, like, something to bond over, you know, some sort of traumatic event to send
He's
them
like,
into each other's
they
arms.
should
At
die.
this rate, they'll be in the geriatric ward before Chris makes a move.
The geriatric ward? Like old people belong in a crazy house? Ooh. Excuse me. Leg is coming up.
You know, Sam,
Yes, Josh?
I just wanted to say,
What?
it really means a lot to me that everyone came back this year, and you know, that you came, Sam.
Josh, we're here for you. Really, whatever you need, whenever, we're all gonna make it through this. Together.
I want us to have a good time, you know?
He is so weird. One door will open. They're all locked. One door is going to be unlocked. Damn, all the doors are locked. So none of the doors unlocked.
Hey, watch your step.
I think I can handle a little old set of stairs.
Mm-hmm.
The camera angle would not change if I wasn't meant to look at something. Maybe I am. Hi, Esteban. What's up, Esteban? How are you? Welcome in. How are you? How are you? Welcome in. Welcome in. We're playing until dawn. How are you doing tonight?
Sorry to drag you down into the bowels.
Happy Sunday.
Water and I'll be super.
¿Qué hiciste hoy? ¿Qué hiciste?
I mean, I wouldn't want you coming down here on your own.
Are you in the States? Did you celebrate Mother's Day today?
Well,
I feel like I like the feel of the game so far.
definitely creepy.
Yeah, I like the feel of the game, but these characters are
Not a place
crazy.
to be
Like they're
on
so
your own.
cringe. They're so like 90s horror. They're like, yeah, we're gonna fuck until the killer comes and stabs us.
Be pretty rough playing baseball out in all that snow.
No, it wasn't in the winter, silly. I mean, we'd come up in the summer and we would have the best time. The whole family was there. Mom.
It's not only Mother's
Dad,
Day in the States, Chester. Oh, I know.
my sisters. It was
That's what I have to
serious
ask.
competition out there on the big lawn.
Have you tried A Quiet Place yet?
I don't know.
Quiet
Can't go
Place.
back.
I didn't know there was a
Reality,
Quiet Place
right,
game.
Sam?
Didn't do much today. I just worked on my stream.
I'm
You just
supposed
worked
to
on
be
stream. What did
fixing
you
this
work
old
on?
guy, right?
Did you get some clips in? How's stream been going? Omar, how are you? How's work?
Here, can you hold
What'd you do
this?
for Ronnie for Mother's Day?
What was that?
What was what?
The
Just
footsteps,
giant ears
bitch.
so I can see what I'm
You
doing.
didn't hear the footsteps? Just cleaned up stuff. Stream is going well. Thanks for asking. Ooh.
Hey, can you just keep the light so I can see, okay?
I moved by accident. We ate, we died, we had fun. Oh,
Nice one.
stream's been going
Okay,
well.
first things first, we gotta
We have
increase
some
the
new
water
alerts
pressure
too
before we
for
get the boiler
follows
fired
and
up.
raids
Sounds kind of complicated.
No, it's actually pretty
and
simple.
gifted. But we're still looking for an alert for subs, but I'll try to fix that tomorrow. And right now we're playing this for the first time in like 2 years. So I'm not really remembering any of this. Like I don't remember it.
Ah, damn.
It's okay. I'm just try again.
What'd you guys eat? What'd you guys eat, Omar?
Relax.
Girl,
Not
it's a
that hard.
switch.
Just press the button when the light comes
Okay,
on.
okay, I'll get it this time.
Sure.
There you
That's
go.
more
Oops.
like it.
I wasn't paying
All right.
attention.
5, girl.
I didn't mean to leave him hanging.
What the hell is that?
That could be a lot of things. None of them nice.
Quit it.
I'm just.
Why is he so creepy?
Oh, you
Ew,
really
his
freaked
smile is
out.
crazy.
Oh my god. Don't move.
What?
Something behind you.
Yeah, right.
Josh. Seriously. There's something back there. Gotcha.
All right, your point.
Haha.
What?
Oh.
Where'd you get the first point?
Does it start at 30?
No, 15.
Oh. Well, more of a ping pong now. Wait, okay, so you hear that too, right? Josh.
I'm laughing my apples out right now. It's
The rhythm's like
so funny.
weirdly regular.
Nothing regular about it.
We should check it out. Yeah, take buddy system rules in effect.
Maybe we should go check it out.
Why?
What if it's like a pipe that's about to burst or some problem with the furnace?
Unlikely.
If it were me, I wouldn't want this place to burn down on my watch.
Yeah, right.
Let's go back here and go exploring. Look, see? Get to look at the dollhouse. Okay, we were already here. This is how we came in. Boom. So you're just gonna let me walk?
Whoa! What the hell? Ah! No! Come on! Why are these doors locked?
months.
What?
Nice one. That was good.
Why would you do that?
There's all this cool old movie crap down here. What was I? Was I not supposed to take advantage of the opportunity?
Where's the other girl?
Were you in on this, Putz?
No, but I wish I was. That was too good.
Where's the other girl? Where's Ashley?
I'm ready to admit that your dumb little prank may have...
Wait, but I thought he was with Ashley. Like, why did he just leave Ashley by herself?
I said nothing about jokes. I said your prank, which was dumb.
Holy crap, you were scared. Admit it.
I was not.
Come on, you totally pissed yourself.
Josh!
What in God's name are you wearing?
Just vote. Just vote.
I
Just vote.
found my true calling.
I know I'm gonna be out. So just vote.
Please tell me you're gonna take a
I know I'm gonna be out,
Island.
so just vote.
Okay. Did you at least find the thingy?
Boing. Here's our
Boing.
You know what? No,
That's so funny. We have a lot of funny stuff in stream.
spooking for one night, okay?
Esteban, we have like
Not bad.
a bunch of sound alerts that are kind of
Alright?
funny.
So have fun.
And
Watch out
our
for
raid
that,
alerts
Josh.
and our follow alerts, like all that stuff is new too. They're all memes. Boing. Back in this scary ass, why would he put a beating heart in front of me, knowing that gore scares the fuck out of me?
I would like to understand your feelings toward people of fear, isolation, loneliness. Do you share this fear?
Yeah. I don't want to be alone. Ew, and there are rats on my table now.
Is that so? Because that's not reflected in the way you are playing your game, now is it?
What do you mean? I've only played with partners. I've never played alone. He's also wearing the same outfit he's wearing.
And now, let us investigate your feelings toward other people in greater depth. What you value, what you respect in yourself and others. Which would you say was most important in a person, loyalty or honesty?
Honesty. Because I think by way of being honest, you're loyal.
So, you would tell the truth, even if it resulted in an unpleasant outcome for a friend. And what about honesty then? And charity?
No, it's always honesty. Just be real. Be true.
Charity is overrated, I suppose. Better to be true to yourself than to help others in need, eh? Oh, once again, I'm afraid we're out of time. We'll talk again soon.
Okay. You're doing a lot for my therapist.
It was just a prank, Han.
It was just a prank, Han.
Today is the one-year
Game
anniversary
over.
of the
Cinema.
dreadful tragedy of Hannah and Beth Washington, the twins.
Hannah
who are
and
still
Fana
missing.
Washington.
I know it would mean so much to Hannah and Beth
Hannah
that
and
we're
Fana.
all still here together. And I'm thinking of them.
Whoa, hello. Somebody's getting a little friendly.
Boom. Butterfly effect.
Excuse me? Did you say something?
Fanta Washington. No, literally,
Not
that's her
near me
name.
with your sluttiness.
Stop it!
Like,
Mike, why
sluttiness
don't you
is
check out
crazy.
the
Like, who the
discount
fuck
when I
is
told you
you?
about
And why are you talking to my friends like that?
Yeah, all right.
Did you hear that?
What in God's name are you wearing?
Here's our one-way ticket to the spirit realm.
Watch out for that, Josh. He's a schemer.
Well, if that's
He's
how
a
it's gonna
schemer.
be. Jess? Jess!
So, it says here, to communicate with the spirit world, you must free your mind of all preconceptions, drop all inhibitions, and generally give
Release
yourself
your
over entirely to the will of others, submitting
inhibitions.
your every desire to the whims of the spirit master, which is me.
It doesn't say that.
And all present will remove their garments at my sole discretion.
Chris, come on, this is serious.
I'm deadly serious.
Oh, shush it. Let's try this.
Yes, please.
Okay then. Let's see what happens.
Luigi board.
You're a recent convert. Why don't you be our medium for today?
Okay, is anyone there? Hello? Pick up the phone, spirit phone. Abracadabra.
Come on.
If you can hear my voice, give us a sign.
Yeah, like a peace sign or
Guys,
stop sign.
If you're not gonna take this serious.
Okay. Is anyone there?
He said like a peace sign or a stop sign. That was funny.
Wait a minute.
Did you do that?
I didn't do anything.
It's moving again.
H?
What's it spelling?
Hold on.
How's this happening?
Are you moving it?
I swear it's just moving.
Holy shit.
Help?
How are we supposed to help?
I don't know. What does it mean?
We need to know who it is if we're supposed to help them.
Who are you? Oh, here it goes.
Okay, S.
I
S
T.
E
R.
Sister. Sister?
Whose sister?
Oh, come on. Is this for real?
Shut up. Ask it whose sister.
Josh, it's gotta be.
Yeah, okay, well, which sister is it then?
Ashley, ask who it is.
Anna, is that you?
Who are we speaking to? Hannah? Is that you? Oh God.
This is messed up.
Josh? Are you
Fine.
sure? Because we can stop.
No.
Dude, it's cool.
I want to hear what it says.
I don't know where to start.
Think about it. If this is actually Hannah, I mean, we can find out what happened that night.
Josh,
I can handle it.
okay.
It looks so much like him too.
Let me think. Hannah, if you can hear this, like, really hear this, we all want to apologize for what happened.
It was stupid and mean, and we're sorry.
We're so sorry, Hannah. B E T R. I don't like this.
Betrayed.
What does she mean?
It's still going.
Oh God. K I L L E D. No.
Kill.
We didn't kill them. It was just a prank.
Ash, calm down, okay? Just we need to find out more.
I'm sorry. I am
Guys,
sorry.
What do they mean?
She is
Ask them
freaking
what
out.
happened. It's the only way to know. Ask them, Ash.
Okay. Who killed you? Hannah, who was it? L I B
The library. Maybe there's something in the library
E
here?
R O O.
Proof. There's proof.
In the library. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Chris.
You know what?
Hannah is pissed. Hannah died.
This isn't real.
Josh, I don't
Hannah
know what's going
Bobana
on.
died.
Listen, I don't know if you think messing with me is somehow going to help me deal with my grief or whatever, but this is not cool.
Josh, no. You wanted to use the spirit board.
Hey, calm down. It's not
I
Ash's
don't
fault.
need this right now, okay? You guys are full of it.
Okay, girl, relax.
Should we go after him?
Ah, man. I mean, he'll be okay. Let's.
No, he won't.
I don't blame him. That was crazy. The pointer flew right off the table.
And if you were faking it, you were doing one hell of a job.
I wasn't faking anything. I think we should do what it says.
We should look in the library.
Yeah, y'all should read a book. These dumbasses.
Jess! Oh! Fuck nuggets.
Sky, I'm starting to remember why I couldn't stand these bitches. Why I wanted them all to die.
Jess, where did you go? This is
Like, at least in the
not
quarry,
funny.
like, you kind of root for them. You kind of root for everybody to survive, you know? In the quarry, you're like, I don't want any of them to die. And even, like, the
Jess?
bitchy girl, Lauren,
Hon?
like, at least her, like, even
Light of
her,
my life?
you're like, oh, I kind of wish she got out of this, you know?
Jess, buddy, you in there?
Yeah, we loved Abby.
Ah! Whoa! Christ!
I braced myself for that. I knew that was coming.
You scared the blue out of my jeans. The hell is that doing in there anyway?
It's just a mask. That feels sketchy as hell.
Jessica, oh come on. Seriously? This is not funny. I totally promise I won't murder
The one
you
girl, though,
when I
can't
find-
remember.
Oh my no.
Yo, Jessica Karat.
So good!
The one girl, can't remember their name. We know her. Yeah, we wanted. I think it was her name was Lauren.
No.
But even like playing it the second time, I was like, I kind of rooting for this baddie to win because she's kind of a baddie.
Jet, you can't just jump out at somebody. I'm in the middle of the woods. It's scary.
I'm sorry to scare you.
If we send that
You're
man,
trying to scare him, bitch. Like, yeah, it worked.
kill you.
I didn't know you had such a cute little ladylike scream, Michael.
Oh my God, she sucks.
You never really know someone until you've scared the pants off of them.
As far as I can tell, my pants are still on.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah. Looks like you have to try harder.
A challenge, eh?
Well, I hope you're strapped in, because you're about to feel the full force of my mind-melting thrill skills.
You're literally getting followed by who the fuck is behind you. Yeah, let's. There's a totem there. It's yellow. Guidance, yeah. Oh, we missed one. We missed a totem. I don't like missing totems. It makes me sad.
Wow. Kind of like a real winter wonderland out here now.
Hey, girl, you know how good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she definitely got better throughout time. At least, like we'll see how they feel at the end. But like Jess, she could go. She has been great since the beginning. We can find them after, and they are not in order. I don't know. Oh yeah, yeah. Hopefully they're not.
Was it
They're the fucking
someone
things that are chasing you.
No. No. Probably just.
A squirrel? That thing screamed so loud. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Freak town?
Skya, I love that you're laughing. It's like I'm remembering all the things I could not.
What?
Do you hear that?
Yeah, you're getting chased. Yeah, cause you're a dumb bitch.
Hello? Someone there?
I'm scared. Girl, let's go back. Like, just please. You guys jumped out of the way. Like, getting pretty far makes me think that the other side had something too. How have we still not made it to this cabin? Is this the way I came from? It might be, actually. Yeah, it totally is. Oh no, I came from this way. Yeah, we came from over here. There's even more. There's so much to do. Like, where am I?
Well, well, well. Look at this fun little lovebird carving.
Interesting.
An M and an E. Any idea what that could stand for?
Me?
Could be any, you know, Elizabeth and Myron.
Or maybe Michael and Emily?
Okay, relax. Hi, Ryan. Welcome in. How are you doing? How are you doing? Thank you for the check-in.
Pun intended.
How are you doing?
Hey, I may look like a tough and rugged man.
We're just about to end here, I think.
I'm in touch with my feelings. I'm not afraid to show a little.
This girl, Jess, I can't wait to fucking kill her.
Oh, yeah? You gonna show me some affection later?
Girl, all kinds of affection.
Oh, is that a check I can cash?
Wink.
Let's go, Casanova.
Okay, so the bridge was not the way. Thank God I did not keep. This way of flirting is too old. Yeah, it's so old to be like, and you're an ugly bitch. You want to make out? I'm like, no. You called me an ugly bitch. Like, why would I want to make out with you? Okay, so we just went in a circle. Throw that ass in a circle. Throw that ass in a circle. That's how I feel walking through the woods. I hope everybody has had the most fab weekend. Ryan, I hope you had the most fab weekend. What were you up to this weekend? I just watched the dumbest movie. Wait, what did you watch? What movie did you go see? That's what Ronnie said to Courtney. I'm dead. Ready or not? Wait, Ryan, you can't say that we're fans of Ready or Not. That's all. That movie is so fun. Wait, did you watch the second one? Are you saying the second one was dumb? Because the first one I thought was pretty fun. It's so campy, but the second one I didn't really enjoy as much as the first one. And I told the friends that I said I didn't really care for it. Like, it was fun, but it was not as good as the first. Ryan, which one did you see? Be honest. No judgment, no judgment. Judgment free, judgment free. Like, just judge a little. Judge a little. Ready or Not is such a fun ass movie. Like, it's so stupid. It is a stupid movie. Okay, the first is a silly movie. Like, it's dumb, but it's like fun. It's still good. Like, I think it's still good. I think the choreography is good. I think the concept was fun. What about it was stupid to you? Like, I honestly would just want to know, like, what your thoughts were. I think we're gonna get to the cabin or where the fuck these people have to, this dumbass couple has to be. It was fun until the end. The end is kind of crazy.
Michael.
Wait, what?
The cabin. I love it.
Yeah.
This isn't the cabin. Is it? Old mask? Let's scare her. Fuck her. Fuck Jess.
Oh my god!
That's what you get. No.
Oh my god, Jess.
That's what you get.
Me right now.
Revenge is mine.
Oh no, that is not fair.
Turnabout.
How's it not fair? You're literally hiding with some antlers.
Soak you.
I didn't soak you either. You fell into the river.
You better get cooking.
Do not underestimate my culinary chops.
So you're gonna cook her. So you're a cannibal. Interesting. Right. The exploding was kind of fun. Like, I kind of was gagged that they still died regardless. I was gagged. You should watch the second. The second's just as... It's just as silly. I thought the first movie was a lot of fun, though. I like vengeance kind of movies, like survivalist movies. Like, I think they're fun. I did think it was silly, though. You know, like, I think it exists in both realms. Guys, I've had a million jump scares. Like, literally, my heart. I'm like locked in.
What is that?
I'm not sure I want to know.
I don't like that. Okay, the fucking the deer that just scared us just died, by the way.
It's horrible.
Gee, I don't think he's gonna make it. Hey, bud. Hey, buddy.
God, the poor thing.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Mike, it's in so much pain.
It'll be over soon. Okay, buddy. It'll be over soon. Run! Run!
Oh my god, what the hell was that?
I don't know!
Oh, there's a break! Over here, Mike!
Oh, fuck! Shit!
Get over here!
missed the button.
Stay on the path. We're almost there.
Guys, I didn't know what button to press. Bitch, leave her.
Come on, we gotta go.
I am!
Get the fuck up.
Mike, get the key! Get it open! Oh my god.
There you go.
That was close.
I pressed the wrong button.
Had it under control.
No, the fuck you didn't, Mike.
Bullshit.
No, 100%.
Yeah, bullshit is right.
110.
Holy crap, I feel like I just ran a marathon.
I think we kind of did.
Was it a bear?
Yeah.
No, it was not a bear.
I mean, I didn't see it.
Hey, things are not gonna come barging in. I promise.
How can you be sure?
Cause I'm
You
pretty
can't be
bears
sure,
don't know how to
girl.
open cabin doors.
Can't be sure.
I've seen them open car doors.
What? Where?
On
the internet.
TikTok. Yeah, exactly.
Really? Okay. Well, this isn't the internet, Jess. Right? This is real life. And I promise
The
you,
internet
no
can be
bear
real
or
life.
anything else is gonna open that cabin door.
I'm
I
sorry.
guess you're right.
I guess you're right. Let's
Okay.
fuck.
I'm almost feeling relaxed again. Almost. Huh. Typical. This is not the cozy chalet I was promised, Mike.
Yeah, it's a bit drafty or something, right?
Well, there is a fireplace.
Well, we don't need a fire to heat things up.
Yes, the
Michael,
fuck you do.
I am a lady, and a lady needs a proper romantic setting.
Not some dusty couch that you're just gonna fucking lay pipe
A lady
on.
would like to cuddle up with her man by a nice cozy fire bathed in atmospheric mood lighting.
Right. Well, it'll get plenty toasty once we're rubbing up against each other.
Ew.
Mike,
Yeah.
fire and mood lighting.
Yes. My lady.
Alright, well. On that note.
Wow. This'll take care of the mood lighting. All right. Logs are ready to go. Just need a match.
Oh, we have to find a match. Native American myths and legends. Alright, great.
Unless you want to make out with an
Wait,
ice
no, no.
sculpture, I suggest
wanna
you
read
get a
some of
fire
that.
going pronto.
I gives you matches. The mother bear returned. She was enraged and attacked the merchant, but he managed to escape with her cub's pelts. That's fucked. Mighty Eagle saw this and swooped on the merchant as he ran through the trees.
You're lighting a fire,
Gunshot.
Michael.
Shut
You're writing
up,
a novel.
Jess. I'm
How
reading
much
a
longer is it
story.
gonna take you?
But a gunshot frightened the eagle away. The merchant was leaving the forest peaceful, thinking of the money that was soon be his, but a great tree fell, blocking his way. He had to turn back and find another route, and that is where he met the bear once more. The Great Spirit stopped him that day. The bear had its revenge. To anchor the earth is his sacrifice.
It's so cold in here right
Jess,
now. My tongue
shut
was stuck to your
up.
flagpole.
Ew. The Great Spirit sees all. Remember that. Beware. Respect is the way of the tribe.
Looks like we weren't the only ones to meet the friendly neighborhood
Native
terror
American
bears.
hunters used
That does
symbols and
not make me
signs scratched
feel
onto
any
walls
better.
or daubed onto trees or daubed into the walls to communicate with other tribe members. Many symbols conveyed religious or mystical beliefs. Others warned of danger or offered protection. Some told of good hunting grounds. Most symbols were specific to the tribe that used it and would be unrecognizable to other tribes. Shown below and opposite are some symbols used by tribes in North America and Canada. Image of a hunter symbol, good hunting ground. Image of a butterfly symbol, a vision or dream of the future. Image of a skull, a ward or spell against swords. Okay, great. Wait, was there another page? Hold on. Oh, there's only 2 pages. Okay, drama, we've got big. Yeah, literally, like, shut mouth, woman. Like, she is so irritating. Matches. Oh, matches, where are you?
Shit. Fuck. Mike.
What?
Oh, crap.
What?
Where is it?
What? What's wrong?
Gone. It is gone, okay?
Jess,
Okay, but
slow
what is
down.
it?
What is gone?
My freaking phone, Sherlock.
Can't find it?
Crap. No. I must have dropped it outside.
Oh.
Dropped it outside.
I
Dropped it
can't lose
outside.
my phone. My parents will kill me.
Your
You can always
parents?
renew it.
Yeah, because you're
That's like
17.
my 4th one this year.
Okay.
Girl,
Okay.
what?
Well, I'll have you look for it.
It's
You have
gotta be
all
out.
those zippers on your pockets.
I don't think we want to go out there right now with the bear. Or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's definitely not a
Fine.
bear. I
I
think
just
you would.
wish you hadn't gotten me completely soaking wet trying to scare me. Kind of a dick move.
I'm sorry.
You started it, girl.
Probably fell out in the water and doesn't even work anymore anyway, so whatever.
Hey,
What is
I'll make
wrong
it
with
up to
her?
you. I promise. Looky. Who's gonna fire up some nookie?
You've been
Ew,
dying to use that line since we got here, haven't you?
let's keep investigating.
Nice. This'll lighten up the mood a little. Oh! Hey! What, are you okay?
What are you doing?
It's
Trying
the
to
lights.
turn on the power,
I know
girl.
it's the lights, dummy. You broke them.
It's probably faulty wiring or something.
You've got faulty wiring.
Hannah winning bronze. Alberta Invitational. They are in Canada. Alberta. When
Oh,
one of the lovers
hell
presses
yeah.
with force, one
These
of the
guys were
other,
inventive.
one or both of the thighs of the other between his or her own. It is called the clasping of thighs. Oh, it's Kama Sutra. Various manifold uses of pleasure in all its highest spiritual and physical forms. What a husband must desire most profoundly in his wife or mistress, thus must be the wife or mistress most ecstatically in return. The many and intimate delights of the flesh are an expression both of worldly affection and spiritual oneness. Hence, when the husband takes the position known as the elephant rising, the wife responds with that known by the ancients as the swan in splendor. The advanced position known as the pervasive lyre is often coupled with one which goes by many names but is commonly called the daisy blooms.
Whoa. I'm not sure if I'm ready for such advanced levels
When one
of
kisses the image of a...
gameplay.
Okay, yes you are. The image of a person reflected in a mirror or in water or his own shadow on a wall is the kiss of declaration. When the woman places either thigh across that of her lover, it is called the entwined position. Interesting. Oh, just do this. Okay. I got scared for like 2 seconds.
Hell, fucking shit, fuck, shit. What do you think was in there, Mike? Come on.
All right, well, that answers everything. Is there more on this side? Okay, but we got matches though.
Man 1, fire 0.
Very nice. Bravo.
All right, my lady. What comes next?
I think. Well, I wish we had some booze.
Well,
What 18-year-old says
I
that?
don't know. I'm kind of just. I'm not feeling it yet.
Am I doing something wrong?
No. I mean, I thought you were one way, but you're kind of another way. If that makes sense? It's not your fault.
Jess? I really like you. Whoever you think I am, well, just give me a chance, and I will show you what you need.
Well, I am liking your confidence. Mike, the shutters.
What about them?
Close them, please?
There's just no one out there.
I feel like someone's watching us. I don't like it.
Jess, really, it's fine.
I really don't like it.
Okay, shutter it is. Oh, Jess,
Ooh, a gun.
look at this.
Is it a fire?
No, way cooler.
Is it a fire? What do you mean? You already turned the fire on.
Huh? How you like me now?
Oh my god. Why do guns make men go completely bonkers?
Nothing? Right.
She'll never understand what we have together.
That's hilarious. About to happen, guys.
Voila. Shutters are shuttered. Now, where were we?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think I'm a little freaked out, and it's hard for me to, like, keep this up, and...
What? Keep what up?
Keep what up?
I act all super confident and like a total sexy babe and everything, but underneath, I gotta be honest, I'm really kind of insecure.
Yeah, no, we get that. Trust.
Jess. You've got to be kidding me.
What?
You have nothing to be insecure about.
Oh. You have no idea.
Sure I do. You're just like me and everyone else. We're all insecure. But you know how to handle yourself. You might call it a front, but it's real.
Yeah. I guess I do.
Yeah. And that's super fucking hot.
Really?
Yeah, hell yeah it is.
See if you can find a blanket and maybe we can snuggle up a bit by the fire and sort out exactly how big of a dick you are.
Or how big of a dick you have.
Whoa.
I already sorted out the fire. What do you mean?
The blankets.
Oh,
Right.
blankets.
Blanket's coming up.
But where are the blankets? The bedroom? Like, I have to go all the way back to the bedroom? I was just in there. Can I try turning this on again?
Oh, Michael. Blanket?
Girl, she is like the most impatient girl ever.
Did you find them?
No,
Yeah,
I didn't.
still
girl.
looking.
Your order, madame, one blanket for the baby.
Anything for monsieur?
I'll have something smooth and wow and naked.
I think that can be arranged. Mike? What is that?
I don't know.
Okay, well, go find out now, please.
It's your phone.
What? How is it my phone?
I don't know. It just came through the window.
Oh, for fuck's sake, god damn it!
Like, what do you mean?
Goddamn assholes probably followed us out here to fuck with us, and just when we were getting down to business. Hey! Yeah, pricks! That means you! I know! You're out there. The fuck are you trying to do? You wanna ruin our fun that bad? Well, guess what? You can't! You can't ruin our good time because Michael and I are gonna fuck. That's
Oh my
right.
God.
We are going to have sex, and it's gonna be hot. So enjoy it because I know we're going to.
Oh my god.
Give me a
Girl, what?
break.
Well, that's what the fuck you get for screaming.
Do you really think the girls were communicating with us?
I don't know. I don't know if I wish they were or if I wish they weren't.
Guess we should find out.
Alright, y'all. I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna end stream here. Your boy is tired. It's already late. We got through a lot of the story, I think. 3.5 hours of it. I don't think we talked for like half an hour, so maybe 3 hours of it, but this is way further than I think. I don't remember that happening, so maybe we've already changed the trajectory of our story from last time, which is great. But I'm glad you're back into until like yeah. I definitely wanted to play Until Dawn, and I think I'm ready for it. I'm ready for this adventure. No, thank you guys for being here so much. Let's see. Am I gonna raid tonight? Who's on to raid? I think I might not raid tonight. I think I'm just gonna like say goodnight and let everybody vibe out their evenings. No, thank you guys for being here, Ryan. Both Ryans, both gay Ryans. Mi Momitos, Gaia, Ronnie for the raid, Ryan for the raid. You guys are incredible. Thank you guys so much for being here. Like, it really means a lot. I had a really hard day. I really do miss my mom. again, stream is like the best part of life at the moment, and I'm really grateful to have all of you guys all the time. Both gay Ryans, clock it. Both gay. No, nothing beats when gay Ryan came to chat. I'm saying gay Ryan because I'm reading the screen name, but then you were like, and what does that make me? Straight Ryan? I'm obviously straight. I'm obviously straight. That's like how I imagined you say that. I'm straight too. We're all straight. We're all straight. Yeah, I'll be live again on Friday. And yeah, we will figure out. I want to figure out Among Us with people who want to play, because Among Us would be so much fun to play on stream. I think having community Among Us would be such a good time. And yeah, maybe I'll announce something in the Discord. If you're not in the Discord already, get into the Discord. I'll announce something in the Discord. See who would be down for some Among Us, because I think that would be such a good time. Like Among Us is so much fun. Also, like even playing something like Lethal Company or I don't know, other party games like Jackbox. Like, would we'd be down for like Jackbox? Like, I think that'd be fun too. Have a good night, y'all, and remain moisturized, hydrated, not bothered. Yeah, literally. Outlast Trials. Outlast Trials. Yeah, guys. Ryan gifted Outlast Trials to me, so let's play Outlast Trials on stream. I would be down for that. No raid tonight, but I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday. And I'll miss you until Friday, but I will see you on Friday. And yeah, thank you guys for being here so much. You guys make streaming so great, and like I only do this to hang out with y'all. So when you're here, it's just incredible, and it's so good to be back into Until Dawn. Like I remembered how much I hated those people. But yeah, everyone have a good